So Jailbreak is turning 7 years old this year, and there are over 100 vehicles in the game. So today I'm going to be going over the top 5 worst vehicles in the entirety of Roblox Jailbreak. Do keep in mind though, these are only obtainable vehicles, no limited vehicles. That's mainly just to keep things simple, and obviously there are quite a few bad limited vehicles, so if this list was just filled up with a bunch of limited vehicles, then there wouldn't really be any point of this video even existing, because it's mainly focused towards new players. But if you guys want a video on the top 5 worst limited vehicles, then do make sure to let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, let's not waste any more time and let's get into this. So coming in first place here, we have, well, the Dune Buggy, and I'm not too sure if you guys are aware, but recently Jailbreak had a bike revamp. And well, you could probably expect what they did. They revamped the entire bike system, and actually it's pretty good now, which is really, really nice to hear. The bikes are finally useful, but with that, they also broke the Dune Buggy, and it's once again undrivable. Yeah, you literally can't control it. I'm flipping over and everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys could understand why the Dune Buggy is on this list. I don't think I need to explain any further. I really don't know why the Dune Buggy is like the most broken vehicle in the entirety of Jailbreak, but like literally every time I make one of these videos, I swear the Dune Buggy is just on it automatically. It's just that vehicle. They broke it once in 2020 and didn't fix it for like 2 years, and now that's probably gonna happen again. So yeah, coming in first place here, the Dune Buggy. Obviously, if you want to have some fun, this is still a pretty good vehicle, but otherwise, it's it's garbage. Now in second place here, we have the ATV. It costs about $50,000, and it spawns over here at the train station near the gas station. Well, without upgrades, the ATV here goes about 50 to 55 miles per hour. It's not really too fast. And even with the level 5 engine, it doesn't really go too fast either. I think the cap is like 101 miles per hour, if you're lucky maybe. So yeah, it's a really, really slow vehicle, but not only that, it doesn't have more than one seat. There's no passenger seat. I think there used to be a passenger seat, but they removed it. I'm not too sure why. And another issue the ATV has is when you're going about 100 miles per hour or anything higher than 50, when you press S or reverse, it just like flies back, as you guys just saw there. And sometimes if you're lucky enough or you're going up like a hill or something, it flips the ATV back, and it's just really annoying to deal with like that there. You kind of just saw it. It does something like that, and it's just really weird. And since the ATV is like, what, 7 years old now, it doesn't look that good either. It's really old, it's really outdated, it's really slow, and overall it's just not really that good of a vehicle anymore. Like the Dune Buggy, it is pretty cool to mess around with if you're just bored, but other than that, it doesn't really have much of a use in just normal gameplay in public servers. Coming in third place here, though, you guys probably already saw it coming. It's the semi-truck. Obviously, while this is a really, really cool and unique vehicle, it's not really good for, public servers. If this was a list about the top 5 worst vehicles in terms of fun, this definitely wouldn't be anywhere near this list, because this is a really, really fun vehicle to mess around with. But if you're in a police chase or something, or you're trying to chase down a criminal, this is definitely not going to be your best option if you want to actually get away or get the criminal that you're chasing, The semi-truck is a really big vehicle, which allows for people to see you from very far away, and it's not that fast at all. It's not really good in terms of acceleration either, so it's just not really that good. One thing the semi-truck does have, though, is the interior is actually really, really good. If we go ahead and take a look inside, you guys could see there's actually a microwave, there's a screen, there are beds, there are windows, and everything. It's just like the interior of an actual truck. And then the back over here actually has details as well. Like over here, there's a Camaro in the top, and I believe you could even try fitting like an ATV or some dirt bikes in the back of this as well. It's kind of glitchy, but I think it works. So yeah, while the semi-truck isn't really that good in terms of performance, it is still really, really good in terms of just messing around, and it also looks really, really good, which is very nice. So yeah, it kind of depends on what you're into. If you're into just messing around in public servers and causing chaos, then this is definitely going to be one of your favorite vehicles, but otherwise, it's probably not going to be that good for you, and I'd probably recommend staying away from it. And now coming in fourth place here, we have the Ray, which I believe is another one of the older vehicles in the game. I think it got released in like late 2020 for a cost of like $25,000 at the port. And well, a good way to describe the Ray here is basically just one of those filler cars in between $16,000, the Model 3 over here, and $100,000, the Lamborghini over here. And well, when it's one of those vehicles, then it's not really good for anything, because why buy the Ray when you could probably just buy the Model 3 over here for $16,000, a lot cheaper than the Ray, and get probably more than you can get from the Ray, which is more expensive than the Model 3. Like, let's go ahead and compare these here. So the Ray here has a top speed of about 150 miles per hour according to the Jailbreak wiki, and it has 2 seats including the driver's seat. And the Model 3 here has 4 seats, which is 2 more than the Ray, and the top speed is just a little bit slower at 144 miles per hour, roughly according to the Jailbreak wiki as well. And well, while the Ray here might be faster than the Model 3, the Model 3 here has a lot better acceleration than the Ray, obviously, because it's a Tesla. So since the Tesla Model 3 here has better acceleration, then well, it makes it a lot easier to reach that top speed, unlike the Ray has a slower acceleration, which makes it harder to reach the top speed. And just overall, the Model 3 has a lot more perks than the Ray does, so what's the point in getting the Ray, where you could just get the Model 3 for a lot cheaper and get a lot more perks than you can get from the Ray? And since there are so limited vehicles around this price range at like $25,000, $16,000, you know, there's not much competition either, which means that the Ray is going to be even worse. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on to 5th place here, which is all of the Game Pass vehicles like the SWAT van and the Celestial here. I'm still not sure how to pronounce it. I'm just going to go ahead and call it the Wraith just because that's its old name though. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen these vehicles before, this is the Wraith that goes with the Boss Pass. You get it when you buy the Game Pass, and that's also the same with the SWAT van over here, but with the SWAT Game Pass instead. And well, if I'm going to be completely honest here, these two vehicles are pretty much the same, but you know, really the only difference is the top speed of the Wraith here is a little bit faster than the SWAT van, but the SWAT van does have a few more seats to compensate. So you know, when you consider the perks that the two vehicles have, they're pretty much the exact same things in terms of what they're able to offer for the price of about 425 Robux, I believe. I think they just recently updated that price, so I could be wrong, but I believe it's about there. But anyways, for 400 Robux, you know, the things that these vehicles have, I don't think they're worth it. They're just not that good at all. You can get so much more with 400 Robux in this game, you know? Like, for 400 Robux, you can go ahead and get yourself the Premium Garage, which allows you to spawn literally any vehicle in the entire game. Or you could even buy the Duffel Bag Game Pass and still have some Robux left over, but get like 2 times more money from all the robberies in the game. So then if you're spending 400 Robux on a vehicle like this that isn't even that good at all for that price, then what's the point in getting it, you know? You might be thinking to yourself, well, super, there's probably gotta be something with these vehicles that are good for the price, right? And you might be looking at the minigun while you're thinking that, but well, if you have high FPS, like a lot of the players that play Jailbreak do, then, well, the minigun is pretty much impossible to use for you. I'm not too sure why the minigun system is designed like this, but depending on how high your FPS is, the recoil will increase, which is very, very dumb. You guys can see here my FPS is about 140 at the moment, and if I go ahead and shoot the minigun, well, it's pretty much impossible to control for me. Obviously, if my FPS was a little bit lower, then maybe it would be a little bit easier to control, but even when the recoil is lower, it still does barely any damage for what you'd expect from it. Like, when you look at this minigun, you might be thinking, well, surely this has got to be like one of the best weapons in the game, right? No, it barely does any damage that makes it worth it at all. Like, you know, you'd just be better off with the pistol instead of this. So when you're looking at it like that, well, then the minigun here becomes pretty much useless, because why would you use the minigun when you could just use your pistol and do a lot more damage than you could do with the minigun? And well, since the minigun is now pretty much useless, then what's the point in using this vehicle at all? Because there's really nothing else good with the vehicle that makes it even worth using. And that's why these vehicles are on this list. It's because, you know, it looks big and, you know, really, really good, but when you actually go ahead and use it, it's just really, really lame, and it's just not really that good at all. Which is really disappointing, because when these vehicles came out with like the turrets and stuff, people expected them to be really, really good, but they just weren't that good at all, and it's really, really disappointing to see something so cool like this be so useless. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on it. That's what I think are the top 5 worst vehicles in Jailbreak as of early 2024. Make sure to let me know down below in the comments what you guys think are the worst vehicles in the game at the moment, and do keep in mind this is a list of only the obtainable vehicles in the game, so try not to include any limited vehicles, but obviously you can do that if you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.